that my name is Gal and I'm Jewish, and we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Zegler also faced blowback after posting Free Palestine. Gadot is from Israel and served in the Israeli army.
And got like millions of views, and they were like, good job, Rachel. And then she, like minutes later, followed it up with, and never forget, Free Palestine.
And isn't her co-star Jewish?
Yes, Gal
Gadot.
Gadot, whatever.
Gadot.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
They tried, they flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go visit personally with Rachel Zegler to say, could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful while you're trying to build an audience for a movie. Maybe you could save them for like your diary and your friends, but like maybe not, maybe just take the tweet down. And she wouldn't.
And if you disagree with the sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
We would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating, justifying, and cheering on a massacre of Jews.
And then they had to hire a special media consultant for her to follow her around all the time and make sure she didn't continue shitting on Snow White.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of like, I don't know, vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler's off-camera tension is the biggest thing people are talking about, even more than Disney's new Snow White itself. Rachel's Instagram tribute that left out Gal completely. No tag, no mention, no photo together. Fans noticed instantly and unleashed a wave of rumors about a hidden feud. But that was only the start. From polarizing political stances to awkward red carpet encounters, these two actresses have stirred up more drama than most people expect from a classic fairy tale reboot. Rachel dropped her heartfelt post on March 21st, 2025, gushing about her long journey filming Snow White. She thanked almost everyone involved, sharing behind-the-scenes photos and sweet words for her co-stars. But Gal, who played the evil queen, didn't appear once. It felt like an unmistakable snub. Was it just a mistake or something more? Many guessed it was personal. It's no secret Gal is Israeli and has openly supported Israel. Rachel, on the other hand, took a bold stance online by voicing her support for Palestine. She even tweeted Free Palestine during production, which supposedly set off tension on set. Gal once served in the Israeli army, so she's no stranger to pushback about her stance. But Rachel's comments made it obvious where she stood, and fans from both sides began clashing. The friction might have stayed hidden if Rachel had at least included Gal in her big thank you post. But when she didn't, people dug deeper. These two also come from different worlds beyond politics. Gal is 39, married, and raising 4 kids.
13, almost 8, 3.5, and 1. Just in one.
That's a lot.
So we experience every hormone possible.
She's focused on balancing mega blockbuster roles with motherhood. Rachel, at 23, is still climbing the Hollywood ladder after West Side Story. She's new to top-tier fame, suddenly walking red carpets, doing press tours, and juggling a whirlwind career. The gap between them sometimes felt like an unbridgeable divide. They seemed polite enough whenever cameras rolled, but word began to spread that they hardly interacted once the director yelled cut.
Like when you leave the scene, I turned to the camera and I was like, Gal's mad. It was but then you were FaceTiming your kids right after being like, hey, it's so good.
Then came the Los Angeles premiere on March 15th. Everyone expected to see some warmth, or at least a friendly hug to calm the rumors. Instead, the tension was so obvious that photos from the red carpet became internet fodder for body language experts. The pair posed side by side, but their tight smiles told a bigger story. They didn't lean toward each other or share the kind of playful banter you'd expect from 2 main cast members of a beloved Disney property. Afterward, Rachel tried to steer interviews in a more positive direction, talking about women supporting women in the industry. She argued that female stars are often pitted against each other and said people should focus on uplifting roles, not fueling gossip. But she never said Gal's name, so many felt it was just a general statement, especially since the Instagram incident was fresh on everyone's minds. If she really wanted to show unity, some fans argued, why not mention Gal's talents or her portrayal of the evil queen? Meanwhile, Disney found itself in damage control mode. Its usual playbook of glitzy promo events, big press junkets, and high-visibility interviews was trimmed down. Company insiders whispered that they wanted to avoid direct questions about Rachel and Gal's rumored hostility. The last thing Disney wanted was for news outlets to hound them about Middle East politics or alleged backstage fights. But of course, the more Disney tried to brush it under the rug, the more fans and critics latched onto the story. On top of all that, Disney faced another headache: the casting controversy. Snow White is famously described as having skin white as snow, so plenty of critics ranted about a Latina actress in the role. Some said it was a betrayal of the original fairy tale. Others praised the decision, saying stories evolved to better reflect modern audiences. Rachel defended her casting. She explained that Disney changed the story so that her character's name isn't about her complexion, but about surviving a snowstorm as a baby. She said it highlights inner strength over outward beauty.
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced,
He wasn't a stalker, by the way.
thing that was like trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
In addition to that, there was already an uproar about her being cast as Snow White because she is not Caucasian, she is a Latina, she is half Colombian, and so people were like, why were you cast in the first place? We just had a black Little Mermaid, now we're having a Latina Snow White, and she is literally called Snow White. This is
Not everyone found that explanation satisfying. Conservative voices like Ben Shapiro slammed the changes, calling them unnecessary and too focused on being woke. Fans who supported more diversity praised Disney's choice and championed Rachel. Both sides argued passionately, especially on social media, making Snow White less about fairy tale magic and more about the culture wars. That only added more fuel to the Rachel versus Gal speculation, because now everything they said or did was under a microscope. Filming itself wrapped without major drama reports, at least publicly. But rumors grew that there was a sense of forced politeness between the two leads. Sources claimed Rachel tried to keep the peace, while Gal kept her distance to avoid blow-ups over political views. Both showed up for required press appearances, but they never seemed excited to be in each other's company. For many fans, the big question was whether these personal differences showed up on screen. Did their real-life tension boost the evil Queen Snow White feud, or did it create awkwardness? When the movie finally premiered, people noticed a certain chill in their scenes together. Some viewers said it made the Queen's hatred of Snow White feel more real and raw. Others felt it lacked spark, as if they were too cautious to play off each other's energy. Critics wrote that the pair delivered strong performances, but they couldn't ignore the behind-the-scenes drama that overshadowed the entire rollout. Instead of celebrating the film's cinematography or costuming, everyone kept asking, so do Gal and Rachel hate each other or not? Rachel then addressed the controversies in a quick YouTube interview. She admitted it was draining to defend her stance on Palestine and fight off critics who wanted Snow White to stay traditionally white. She also hinted that certain co-stars had different political beliefs, but she never got personal or named names. She said they worked incredibly hard and respected each other's dedication, which felt like a polite, practiced response, not a real friendship. It didn't stop fans from scrutinizing every word. Gal mostly stuck to praising the new twist on the evil queen. She said she liked exploring deeper layers in the character, giving her more motivation than simple jealousy. If reporters tried to poke at the rumors, she would pivot back to the movie's themes or the excitement of playing a Disney villain. She never bashed Rachel publicly. She didn't refute the tension either. She stayed friendly but cautious, a strategy many saw as a way to avoid turning the feud into an outright media circus. Disney continued to scramble. They wanted people talking about the updated story, how Snow White is now about resilience rather than fairest of them all. They wanted the conversation to revolve around the film's message of self-discovery. Instead, the news cycle was flooded with speculation about the two leads' private stances on global conflict. PR teams tried to schedule interviews so Gal and Rachel didn't appear together too often, but that only fueled more chatter. If they couldn't even share a couch for a promotional Q&A, fans figured the feud must be real. Reports claim that once the press tour ended, they went their separate ways. There's no evidence of a warm farewell or future collaborations. Rachel returned to social media to thank fans for supporting the movie, while Gal posted about other projects. The two barely acknowledged each other's existence. Some people chalk it up to normal Hollywood PR. Co-stars usually hype each other up and then go on with their lives. But these two had the added baggage of strong beliefs, generational differences, and clashing fan bases. In the end, it's not every day that a Disney film becomes a hotbed for political arguments and personal disputes. Usually, you expect a feel-good story, a catchy soundtrack, and a massive marketing push. Here, the conversation spiraled into personal views on a global conflict, how far remakes can stray from the original source, and whether big studios can handle cast members who disagree so starkly. For months, fans debated whether we should even care about these private matters, or let the movie speak for itself. Yet, in the age of social media, nothing stays private. One untagged Instagram photo was enough to blow the lid off everything. Perhaps the lesson here is that classic fairy tales aren't safe from real-world conflicts. Once you drag these timeless stories into 2025, you can't escape the issues people talk about now, from global politics to cultural representation. Rachel's open stance on Palestine clashed with Gal's strong Israeli pride, and no sugar-coated Disney script could mask that. What's clear is that Snow White ignited conversations far beyond the scope of a typical Disney remake. People debated everything from casting choices to complex political ideologies. They scrutinized Gal and Rachel's interactions, dissecting every tight-lipped smile. They tried to guess which side the rest of the cast and crew fell on. Some demanded an explanation, others cringed at how personal it got. The feud shaped the film's image in a way that might outlast the movie's time in theaters. For better or worse, it's part of Hollywood history now. One social media post tore open that fragile truce. In an industry where synergy is everything, this kind of raw tension is rare to see so publicly, but it shows how real life can crash into fantasy no matter how much Disney magic tries to gloss it over. So, yes, the film gave us a new Snow White, no longer defined by skin white as snow, but by survival and strength. It also gave us a behind-the-scenes drama that revealed exactly how political and personal beliefs can intersect with pop culture. Whether you loved it or hated it, you probably tuned in just to see if the rumors were true. And in the end, that might be the most surprising twist of all. A classic tale overshadowed by two actresses with very different views and a single missing tag that set it all in motion.